Law Simplified with Justice, the new informative, educative, and thought-provoking program is what you need to keep abreast with law and politics. This exciting and truly refreshing program is anchored by Justice Maduforo, a solicitor.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a soul-searching discussion here with my colleague. We've been dissecting sole responsibility under the individual rule, those under 18 and those above 18 years of age as well.
Law Simplified with Justice understands that law is a powerful driver to human behavior. It is therefore poised to simplify the law and get you to take action.
We'll bring it to your doorstep and simplified the way that you will understand.
Contact Justice by calling 07931 727 597 or email lawsimplifiedwithjustice@yahoo.co.uk. Law Simplified with Justice, bringing the best to the audience.
This is a contract, and for one to go into contract, which is a marriage contract we're talking about, in as much as it's away from the purview of the commercial contract that we all know.
Correct.
But this is a contract itself, of which one party is entering into a legally binding contract with another party, but they're not the same country, they're two different countries, to a country where the other party lives, accept that. But now, the other party lives in the other ocean, side of the, assuming the United Kingdom, for instance, and I'm sure viewers will also want to know, how will this person who is the proxy in the other country now recognize the fact that the party in the United Kingdom wants to legally enter into this contract? I mean, is there any form of words? Because this is a contract, as I said. It's important that there be some form of written authority, be it by letter of authorization or by, obviously, I know some countries do accept the power of attorney first before they can execute such in their country. I mean, does it differ from country to country?
Absolutely. It will always differ from country to country. It will always depend on which country you're dealing with. If you're entering into a marriage in the United Kingdom, your basic evidence is the signed up green long paper that says marriage at the top and where it took place and so on and so forth. But remember that in certain countries, you could enter into a marriage under customary law where there's no signed paper at all. Would you therefore say, just because there's no formality there, then it is not a valid marriage? Okay. In certain countries, you pay a bride price, and that's it. You send off a cow to your
But let's not go there, because that's a different topic entirely. It's a customary marriage, which is obviously some countries may recognize such customary marriages or not. But let's not dwell on that. We'll move on now. And the question now is that such marriage is now taking place in another country. The validity of that marriage in the United Kingdom here is another question. How do the United Kingdom or the United Kingdom Border Agency, which is where we're heading to, how now this marriage is taking place in that country, it's important for this country to recognize it or not. How does the United Kingdom Border Agency, the Immigrant Home Office, deal with this in terms of, do they accept it with wholeheartedness, or do they just need to make some inquiries, some investigation, in order to consider that marriage valid?
Like
for the purpose of the application.
Yeah, for the purpose of an immigration application. Like I was saying from the beginning, the UK would apply 3 basic criteria. The country in which the proxy resides or where the proxy marriage takes place must actually recognize that by law. For example, the United Kingdom does not recognize, there's no way you can be in the United Kingdom and enter into a proxy marriage with somebody overseas, even if the person overseas is living in a country where proxy marriages are recognized. The UK doesn't recognize proxy marriages. If you're physically located in the UK, one of the parties is located in the United Kingdom. However, if the other party is located in a country in which a proxy marriage is recognized, then the United Kingdom...
takes place, obviously.
And it takes place, you know, by arrangement between them, then the United Kingdom would recognize that.
Right. Okay. It's a very important thing that we explained it today, because in our course of our practice, we've quite had a lot of people making seeking advice in respect to whether or not the marriage they have entered into in another country is valid in the United Kingdom. And it's very important for those of them who have difficulties in the United Kingdom, of which that they are prevented from traveling out of the United Kingdom. But it's important that they understand whether the law do assist them in any way they can in terms of their intention to enter into marriage. Now, it's important we also deal with another question here, and that is issue of consent. Obviously, the party in the United Kingdom must have consented to such marriage to the other party in another country. Now, this consent, how can it be vitiated at all by any way? I mean, in terms of the other party turning and say, I didn't give consent to do that. Is there any way that can turn around?
You would always have issues of consent where you have two people basically deciding to enter into any kind of pact, be it a marriage pact or a contract pact. Of course, you may have vulnerable people. I mean, in this case, I'm talking about people with mental health conditions, people who can not reasonably take a decision on their own behalf.
Yes.
So you may have issues like that.
Yes.
Then, of course, there's always the issue with minors. You've got people under the age of 16 who cannot lawfully enter into a marriage by the laws of the United Kingdom.
That's correct.
So you've got basic issues like that you always
That's
have
correct.
to deal with.
That's correct. That's a very important point you raised on there in terms of the consent. Sometimes it got to be dealt with in one way or the other. But the question also people will want to ask that, what if I have given my consent, but I decided to withdraw it after the marriage? Because this is a transitional marriage now taking place from one country to the other. The other party changes his mind while he was in the United Kingdom, and the marriage is going on there, and give a phone call, I don't want it again, cancel it. How does that translate?
Then it's no longer a marriage, as you would well be aware of. That's a technicality, but I mean, the situation which you describe is highly likely to happen. But I mean, if before the marriage completes, you say, well, I no longer wish to enter into this marriage, then, you know, it has to stop there. It's like being in a church and you're asked whether you do, and you decide to say, well, I do not do. That's the end of the marriage,
absolutely,
isn't it? So,
absolutely, absolutely. That's very correct. Because although I've not witnessed that but before,
no, you don't want to see that kind
I know
of thing happen
before.
to a relative or friend.
Absolutely, even on TV, I've watched that. But be it as it may, it does occur once in a while. But it's also important that we enlighten viewers in this respect, because it's a very important area where it may not affect you directly. Because issues of law must not be directly affecting you. It might be those you know, it might be your friends, it might be relatives, it might be neighbors, and you are tuning to this program. You want them to catch a glimpse of this and get to understand what the issue is, so they can be able to seek more further advice. Now, I want to ask this eligibility issue, which is very important. We've made mention about 16 years old can't legally enter that without the consent of the parent agreeing to that. But in the issues of people who have deficiency in their sound mind, for instance, but they comprehend naturally things, but along the line, it's like things, it comes and goes. It's not like a permanent disability in terms of their ability to comprehend things, but it comes and goes. But when that party has agreed to that, and then suddenly it affects that, and it turns out that there's some sort of issues with the mental health, does that also vitiate that?
Remember
contract?
that...
Because we are talking of contract here.
In our practice, once you have someone whose capacity you doubt, what do? You get a medical expert to give an opinion on whether that person has capacity to consent to whatever it is.
Law Simplified with Justice, the new informative, educative, and thought-provoking program is what you need to keep abreast with law and politics. This exciting and truly refreshing program is anchored by Justice Maduforo, a solicitor.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a soul-searching discussion here with my colleague. We've been dissecting sole responsibility under the individual rule, those under 18 and those above 18 years of age as well.
Law Simplified with Justice understands that law is a powerful driver to human behavior. It is therefore poised to simplify the law and get you to take action.
We'll bring it to your doorstep and simplified the way that you will understand.
Contact Justice by calling 07931 727 597 or email lawsimplifiedwithjustice@yahoo.co.uk. Law Simplified with Justice, bringing the best to the audience.